everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. Sorry, it took me a really long time for me to try and get around saying speed build video for some reason. I think it's because I took 2 weeks off and I hadn't said it in a long time. Can you even tell? Like, my grammar might be slightly off as well because I've just not been talking for the longest time, so I have no idea how this is gonna sound in the end, but let's just hope for the best. Yeah. So after the 2 week break that I would like to now consider is my impromptu holiday break, which it wasn't. I was meant to upload way more during the holiday. I think I promised a Christmas short film. I promised a Christmas market, but then I came down and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know about it. I feel like every single time I do such expansive and such big build, especially since my previous build was that small town, it just gets this feeling inside of me that if it's not the best, I don't want it. Like, I've always had the mentality that if it's not the best, I don't want it to go on. But in the mentality really like doubled down because it became, it's not as crazy amazing as that was, because I do have some videos, again, backlog. I was trying to clear that out before the new year. I just kept adding to it. I kept thinking that, okay, let me just upload something from my backlog. So I was going to, but then I was like, that is just subpar compared to what I've just uploaded. I need something else, a good middle ground between this and that. So I was like, you know what? I finished doing the airport. Let me upload the airport. But then I thought, I like to do things in a sense where there's maybe just like one custom content build per week, maximum two, if I've uploaded at least 3 others, but the ratio should always be like 2 to 1 when it comes to what is in the game and what's custom content. And I was like, that build has way too much CC in it, and I want to upload something that doesn't have CC in it. So I decided that I was gonna try and build something else. And I think I did end up building an apartment with CC. I couldn't help myself. I have like interior design fatigue again. But that's mainly due to the fact that I want to constantly use CC. When it comes to interior design, you wouldn't 9 times out of 10 ever see 9 times out of 10 never ever that is the most juxtaposing sentences I've ever said. No, I mean as in 9 times out of 10 you would never see a, I keep doing it, 9 times out of 10 you won't see a video that has CC that I've just done an interior renovation. Oh my gosh. You will never see an interior design video that doesn't have CC that I've done a renovation of, because I prefer, if I'm going to be just doing the interior design of something, I'm 9 times out of 10. Why do I keep saying 9 times out of 10? I really want to use CC in it because CC allows me to have a little bit more creativity. I don't know if you guys have watched my London townhouse build, but in that build that's very similar to this build, I discussed before that it's a challenge for me not to use CC. And especially in moments where I'm starting to feel a little bit of burnout, it's even more of a challenge of me not to use CC. You would think it's the opposite. Like, what can you create without using CC? No, it's like, I want to use CC now. I want to play like how I used to play before I recorded, which is the most random amount of CC and everything like that. So I just, again, found the middle ground that every single time I'm feeling a bit burnt out with The Sims, but I still have an intrigue towards The Sims, I just play with my family in The Sims, and then I just get inspired to do all these things all over again. But the burnout wasn't necessarily because of The Sims. It was through everything. I think any situation, and I don't know if you guys feel this, you probably do, but when there's a big, like, anticipation towards something, for example, graduation, birthday, or Christmas and the holiday season, there is so much buildup of, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that, so that, and it's that feeling of I need to do this and do that, and the procrastination you put in between that. For example, my form of procrastination is reading books. You just get this urge to do all these other things, and you get inspired and you get so interested in all these other things to do. So for example, during the season, every day I read a book. I think the most amount of I think it surpassed this, but I even went up to I last I checked was 450 minutes, but that was just that was because I had a break between a sleep and break. But I was like just waking up and reading, would skip meals to read, and just constantly because I just love my books. So what ended up happening with that kind of mindset, I was just kind of burning through all of my books. I was burning through all of my builds. I was burning through every single thing that I would do that I need to do in the form of a procrastination, and things that I would do in the form of like a hobby, because The Sims is a hobby to me. My books are a hobby to me. So when you go through your hobby so quickly, and then suddenly the anticipation, the holiday season finishing comes around, it ends up feeling like, oh, I've got desire to do nothing now. And that's what happened after the holiday season, after Christmas finished. I got this feeling of, oh, I don't feel as inclined to read my books now because there's not something else I should be doing. So that feeling, that edgy kind of almost guilty like feeling that you get when you read a book when you know you should be doing other things, it wasn't there anymore. So suddenly I can't find a lick of a book that I find interesting, and I'm now struggling for scraps. And it also worked that way within The Sims. Like all these things I wanted to build, suddenly I just don't want to build them anymore. I feel because I know I don't have anything else I should be preparing for. So yeah, I got to that mentality. But you know what? I have to, when things end up coming up like this, I just end up having to just like push through and be like, okay, I have to do this, not just in terms of The Sims, but in terms of books, because there's nothing. I think I would cry if I ever got one day disinterested in books, because they are it's what's keeping me sane, like honestly. So when it comes to things like this, I just had to tell myself that I need to push for it. So I pushed myself to make this build, and I also pushed myself to go and find a book, even if I might find it a bit like uninteresting, like a book I wouldn't necessarily want to read. Not a book that is like so uninteresting that I feel like I'm wasting my time reading it, but a book that I don't necessarily feel like, okay, this is my first option, or even my second option, or even it must be serious, not my 10th option. But maybe it's the fact that it's something that I would never normally read, that I feel the need to now go and force myself to read it, to open that perspective within myself. So that's what happened with this build. I would never, and I mean never, recreate a build that I've done so recently. So these are not exactly like the London townhouses, but they're very, very close. So I would have never done this anywhere near this recent. Like I would have given it like what, 6 months at least for me to redo a build. And then to add on top of that, a very, very colorful build. And then to add on top of that, a beach build, because I hate building with beaches. I don't like going anywhere near the ocean lot. I only use them when I need to use them, like for example to make like the ship restaurant that I did. But if it's not that, if it's not like specifically that, I don't want to do it. Residentials, do not like doing them. I like doing apartments, but townhouses is a little bit different. So I'm not even townhouses, I don't really want to touch. And then there's the colorful aspect of it. I'm really happy I did it now, because it's something I've been wanting to do, but I never actually want to do. Like I wanted like think about it, and then suddenly it's there. But I had this feeling that, okay, I need to do this. So I ended up going onto Pinterest, as one does. I searched up some neighborhoods and I just looked at them, and I was like, okay, this is the kind of thing I want. So these types of houses, what I know in real life, would normally occur down the southern coast of the UK. So you'll normally see these houses in Brighton, you'll see these houses. Do you see these houses in Cornwall? I'm not too sure, because I don't live anywhere near the south, so I don't know what goes on too much with it. I only know superficially what goes on. I do actually initially, when I think of colourful houses, I don't even think about England. I think about Scotland, because I think that's where Ballymore is, and if you've I think even like different countries have watched the show, but it's a show for kids called Dell'amore, and it starts off and it's got these rainbow houses near a coast, and I think it's set in Scotland, and it goes like Dell'amore. What's the story in Ballamore that you can like to know? And it's that. So that's the only other place I know about colourful houses, but they're not as synchronized as they are within Brighton. And Brighton, I know that just because almost everyone knows about Brighton. If these were pebbled, that would have been, if the beach was pebbled, actually I couldn't have, because I can't change the entire aesthetic of the beach area, so I didn't make it entirely pebbled. But if it was pebbled, it would have been spot on for a British beach, specifically like in that kind of area. I think I don't know too much about Blackpool, if Blackpool has it as well as Southampton. I know different like cities in the coastal area. I just don't know specifically the architecture that is within those cities. But speaking of architecture, when I came to finding the inspiration, because I had to find inspiration, I couldn't do this on the top of my head like I've been doing with my other builds. So when it came to finding the inspiration for this build, the picture that I actually use is of houses in London, so it's not even near the coast. But I decided to use those as primary inspiration because I didn't want to go full coastal, but I wanted to do it just a tiny bit. And I didn't like the lot size thing, because the 40 to 20 meant that I wasn't gonna have the same kind of feel I normally have when it comes to making British builds, where it's very skinny in the front and very long throughout the back. So I was like, okay, with that in mind, how am I going to do this? But it actually works out in the end, because as you can see within the build, there ends up being this kind of car park area on the side. So instead of having the cars park in the front, they park on the side. And I think that just looks way better aesthetically, and it feels the kind of vibe of it being a beach house, because now you can also imagine not only do the tenants of this house park their cars over there, but then there's also other people, if there's a free parking space, can park the cars there and just go into the beach. Because I also wanted to add the element of having an open backyard into the beach, because I had something very similar for the previous build I uploaded as well, where it was an open backyard into the forest, because I was on my Beacon Hills thing, and I'm still to this day on my Beacon Hills like mentality. I am obsessed with Teen Wolf. But don't ask me about the film, because I have not watched the film, and I refuse to watch the film because what was that? But I'm still very obsessed with Teen Wolf. So I still, I was on my Beacon Hills kind of mentality when I made that. A tiny bit of Mystic Falls, mainly Beacon Hills. But even though now I think back on it, it does look more Mystic Fallsy. And I did use Catherine and another, but I digress. But with this, there wasn't a specific place I had in mind, but I was thinking when I made this that this gives me memories. I've never been to the Southern Coast, so they're not primary memories for me, but it does give me memories of shows I used to watch when I was younger on either CBBC or CBBS. And after, like, this is the type of houses that were there. Even a lot of like British vloggers, I feel like this is the type of houses they would visit, take pictures of. I think there was so many pictures of Brighton. That was like a whole thing, like 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Oh yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. But yeah, 10 years ago, it was like such a thing. Like Brighton was the place to be. Still is, but like it was just like the place to be back then. And so I think it just gave me a lot of nostalgia as well. I wouldn't say necessarily direct nostalgia. There is a word for it. I did a whole dissertation on it, but I just left my mind. But it gave me a sense of nostalgia. I was like, oh, this is not only just a nice rental, but if you're somehow able, I don't know if you are, to make it a holiday rental. Oh wait, since these rentals do have like the 7-day thingies, you can kind of try and like extend it, reduce it to make it into a holiday rental if you want to. So for example, if your Sims are living in Copperdale, well, this is British inspired. So I was saying they're living in Windenburg, or the other one where I forgot the other British world is called, but if they're living in Windenburg or if they live in the other British world, you can have them for, if you still have the normal settings on The Sims where it's like 7 days per season, you can potentially have your Sims rent out one of these houses for those 7 days during summer and then move back to wherever they are normally set at for the autumn, winter, and spring season. I think that would be kind of cute. That would be kind of cute. But let me talk about what things I really enjoy about this house, because I had to like mentally tell myself not to do this entire voiceover, just talking over and over about my books, because even though a lot of you did comment and it was so sweet that a lot of you, one person, what is wrong with me? Hey, one person commented that they found the book stuff really interesting. I don't want to digress too much into that because I've done that. Even though that is what I am on these days, I am so obsessed with my books. It is I would like to talk about like what I was thinking about when doing this build. So doing colors, this is not the last time you see colors, because with the for rent pack, there was a lot of stuff that I said before when I was doing my Tomarang apartment build, that there's a lot of things there that I can utilize to make something very reminiscent of my home countries, like some aesthetics from my home countries, like towns, like some towns over there, not all of the towns, but some towns. I'm able to do that with some of the build stuff that we were able to have within this pack. So that's something that's really interesting to me. And wait, I forgot where I was going for that. I spoke. Oh yeah, so this is not the last time you could see color, but I don't know if you're gonna see color again like too soon, because to me color was something fun. It really, like, now I'm thinking about it, like I do kind of want to build something else now, like, but I think I'm not going to. I think I'm gonna just focus on uploading what I've got in my backlog, just so that way I can still have content coming out without me getting burnt out from playing too much. So I think that's, again, I could be saying this and then I could disappear for a month. I, I could end up pulling, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting everyone's name. I literally watched all of her videos and I'm forgetting her name. Oh my gosh. Steffo, that's it. Steffo. I had to literally do the jink of my head. Go Steffo, there's a video on some days. I had to go though. It threw it in my head for me to realize that I will end up pulling a Steffo Sims and it just end up like continuously, like almost like a prime number. And is it prime numbers? No, it's not prime. Is it a prime number? Like, hold on, I'm explaining where my mind is going. Like, almost like every single time I say, oh, I'm going to start uploading a lot. And then, like, I disappear for, like, 6 days, which I did. And then I'll say, no, I promise you guys, I'm going to do back-to-back, like, uploads. And then I disappear for 2 weeks. And now I'm saying I'm going to upload a little bit more often. And then I end up disappearing for, like, a month. I don't want that. That's not what my mind is at. I want to upload more often. It's just the thought of just uploading. It's the thought of uploading actually really does inspire me. It makes me feel so giddy and excited. But then the thought of doing the house tours, yeah, that fills me with the type of, I don't know. I don't like house tours. I like the cinematic intros. I love editing cinematic intros. I love building the houses with the house tours, but I must include a house tour. It's just like everyone has to find that within the hobbies, the set of aspects that aren't that interesting, and you have to build a bridge and get over it. Like, for example, I have a similar situation when it comes to my books. I love my books, but I cannot, for the life of me, stand different POVs. But 9 times out of 10, I do need to read them for me to understand the full-fledged plot within the entire book. So I hate changing people. As I say that, I also want to like disclose that I do not read anything in first person. I read things in third person. I cannot stand first person. So you can imagine the additional hatred when it's third person, but it's a different POV. Like, I understand you can have certain POVs even in third person. Like, for example, if I say, I forgot everyone. There's like same called Anna in this. They say Anna walks through the forest and Anna goes and finds a fairy, and the fairy tells Anna that you're gonna be the next queen, but first you need to destroy this dragon. Um Obviously you can have another POV where it says the fairy walks through the forest and the fairy finds Anna. The fairy thinks Anna is very brave, blah blah blah. I don't like that. I understand it works, and I will read it for the sake of understanding the plot, and I can understand that it took the author a lot of time and to make this, to make sure that it's fully fledged out. So I will not entirely put it off, but I will not be thinking in my head, yeah, I'm really excited reading this, but I'll read it and it would work out in the end, and I'll enjoy the fact that I actually did do it. And that's the same thing that occurs in my head when I am doing the house tours for these videos. I don't want to do it, I don't like it, but it is needed to create the fully fledged video. But every single thing else, building the videos, doing the cinematic intro, definitely get me, even doing the thumbnails, absolutely love. I love it. It is so much fun and it just gives me a sense of peace. But yeah, and since it's been a few days, it's been a few weeks since we've had the Sims 4 4N pack come out, I'm gonna start doing apartments and multifamily builds a little bit less, just because I feel like I've given you guys quite a bit. And I know there's still some suggestions, like for example, there was the NYC townhouse, there was the Neapolit Neapolit Neapolitan, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce it. Neapolitan kind of dorm room ass thing. And then there was also there was this one with rec center and everything. So I know about them. So I think I'll try and just focus on them and do that. But yeah, it's coming to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this longer, listening to all of my ramblings. And also don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.